Welcome to DataViz Daily. I'm Kevin McGinley, and we're still working with our election debate data that we started with yesterday. This is data that lists all the different lines that all the different speakers say in the election debates. We have the first presidential debate and the only vice presidential debate in this data set so far. Hopefully later this week we'll get to show you how we can add records to the data set from the second presidential debate, which was Sunday night. But what we're looking at here is I'm going to show you the stacked scatter category chart. That's chart name's a bit of a mouthful. And to do that, I had to add a few attributes and measures to my data set to make it more usable. So you saw before that I added the line count that allowed me to count how many times a particular speaker spoke. I also used the group feature here, which I demonstrated in a previous episode, to create this affiliation column, which allows me to sort of group all the Democrats, Republicans, moderators together. And then I took the text of what they said and created this text length field. I used the length function, which is found in the string category here, that gives me the number of characters in a given statement that a speaker makes. Now, it would have been nice if it could count words instead of characters, but if nothing else, this still gives us an idea of whether a response was a long response or a short response, and kind of play with that accordingly. So I also created a second version of it that I'm calling average text length. And if we come here to the data set itself, you'll see what I did is actually set these both up as measures, one with an aggregation of sum, the other with an aggregation of average, just so that we can have a little bit of flexibility of how we want to use that. So let's look at the visualization itself and understand how we can use this. So I'm going to take the affiliation column that I created and first drop that in the category x-axis. You'll see why in a moment. But this will allow us to, this is the category part of the stack scatter. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the speaker and put it into the detail. This will be the stacked part of the stack scatter category. And then from there, it's just a matter of adding in some of our measures that we have. And I'll just go ahead and double click on those. You'll see them automatically get added to the different places where we can drop measures. And so what we get here is, we've got a y-axis here, which is our text length. This is how many characters total that each speaker spoke. You can see here going along the x-axis, we've got our different affiliations, or the groups that I created. And then the different data points represent all the individual speakers. Now I'm going to get rid of the others here because I don't want them to sort of mar the analysis. So I'm going to remove those. So now we've got Democrats, Republicans, and the moderators. And so you can start to see a sense of, well, how often do these people speak? Who speaks the most? Who speaks the longest? What, on average, is their average sort of response? And, one thing that we can't tell very easily here, though, we have to hover over each data point to see who that particular speaker is. What we can do is we can actually move the speaker from the detail to the shapes. The shape is an area that accepts an attribute. And we'll get a nice legend over here which shows us by shape who is whom, so to speak, here. So we can see Clinton and Kaine here. We've got Trump and Pence. What's interesting here is Pence definitely had much longer sort of responses and answers, but Trump actually spoke quite a bit more. So that's an interesting sort of distinction to make in the analysis. So this is how you can use the stacked scatter category chart. Next time we'll keep this same data set and do a little bit more with it. Thanks for watching.